Quebec's minimum wage is now $15.25 an hour, up $1 from what it was. To some, that's a lot. To others, it's not nearly enough. But how does it actually stack up against other places, against history, and against rising inflation? Here's a breakdown. The hike is the largest percentage increase in the province's minimum wage in nearly 3 decades. If you were a minimum wage worker 13 years ago, you were taking home nearly $6 less. But Quebec isn't alone in raising its minimum wage. While it beats out other provinces, Quebec trails its neighbor Ontario, whose minimum wage will jump to $16.55 an hour on October 1st, 2023. 5 other provinces are also set to increase their minimum wages. The Yukon will still be in the lead though, paying its workers $16.77 an hour. In the US, the federal minimum wage is only $9.82 Canadian, although some states have their own higher minimum wages. In Washington, for example, a minimum wage job will pay you $21.32 Canadian an hour. Let's just pause here. There's a couple things to note. For some federally regulated workers in Canada, the minimum wage is actually higher, like those in banking and postal and courier services. For them, it rose to $16.65 in April. For workers in Quebec who earn tips, the minimum wage is lower, but they also got an 80-cent raise, bumping them up to $12.20 an hour. There's a reason for all these significant increases. You guessed it, inflation, which, as you know, has been high in the past few years. So has Quebec's minimum wage kept up? Many worker and anti-poverty groups say no. But is that true? When Quebec's minimum wage is adjusted for inflation over the last 50 years, it looks more like this. Apart from a short period in the 80s, it has kept up. And in fact, its buying power is the highest it's ever been.
In real terms, you are earning more now than you were, say, 30 years ago. The thing to keep in mind is when we talk about inflation, we're talking about an increase in the average price of goods and services. That doesn't mean that every price increased at the same rate.
Even though wages are increasing, some anti-poverty advocates in Quebec say it's not enough. They're calling for at least $18 minimum to keep up with the rising cost of living. Business groups, on the other hand, say the more the wages increase, the more they feel the squeeze. In any case, $15.25 won't get you as much as it used to. But if the inflation rate levels out like some are predicting, the cost of living should follow.